It seems strange, but Jung even analyzed the shape of the ears to understand hidden desires. And yours? What does it reveal about you? Have you ever stopped to think that every detail of your body carries a message? That even your ears can reveal deep aspects of your personality that you can't even imagine? Carl Jung, the revolutionary Swiss psychoanalyst, believed that nothing in the human being is accidental. For him, each physical characteristic reflects psychological patterns that shape our innermost desires. While most people are concerned with superficial appearances, Jung dove deep into analyzing details that go unnoticed. The shape of the ears, according to his observations, works as a fingerprint of the soul. It is not cheap mysticism, it is science applied to self-knowledge. The truth is brutal. You live your entire life without knowing your own standards. He repeats the same mistakes, gets involved with the same toxic people, makes the same self-destructive decisions. Why? Because it ignores the signals that its own body emits about its psychological nature. Jung found that people with large ears tend to be more receptive, but also more vulnerable to emotional manipulation. Those with small ears are more selective, but can be overly critical. Pointed ears reveal an analytical mind, but also a tendency to isolation. Each format tells a different story about how you process the world around you. This is not about accepting limitations. It's about recognizing your patterns in order to transcend them. Stoicism teaches that self-knowledge is the basis of all real transformation. You can't change what you don't understand. He cannot control impulses that he does not recognize. He cannot avoid traps that he does not see. The analysis of Jung's ears goes beyond scientific curiosity. It is a tool of personal power. When you understand how your mind works through the signals your body emits, you gain control over your reactions, your choices, your relationships. Many live on autopilot, reacting to external stimuli without questioning why they always end up in the same place. Others look for answers in horoscopes, endless therapies, or empty self-help advice. Jung offers something different, a concrete map of his psyche etched into his own anatomy. This knowledge is not for the faint-hearted. It requires courage to face uncomfortable truths about yourself. It requires discipline to apply these findings in real life. It requires strength to break patterns that you have carried for decades. If you've made it this far, it's because you're tired of living in the dark about your own nature. It's ready to use every cue your body offers to build a more conscious and powerful version of yourself. Get ready to find out what your ears reveal about your deepest desires and how to use that information to take full control of your life. 1. Big ears. Do you have big ears? Then it carries a specific psychological imprint that Jung identified as the receptor syndrome. People with large ears have an expanded ability to absorb information from their surroundings, but this trait comes with a hefty price tag that few recognize. Your receptive nature makes you pick up on emotional nuances that others ignore. You notice when someone is lying. You feel the tension in the air before others. You identify subtle changes in people's behavior. This ability is supposed to be a superpower, but it often becomes his greatest weakness. The problem is that you absorb everything, including toxic energies, emotional manipulations, and negative charges that are not yours. Your mind works like an emotional sponge that you don't know how to filter. Result, you exhaust yourself trying to process information that doesn't even belong to you. Jung observed that individuals with ear-shaped psychology related to large ears tend to be preferred targets of narcissists and manipulators. Your ability to listen and understand attracts people who want to dump their problems on you. They instinctively feel that you will absorb everything without question. Your deepest hidden desire is to be understood in the same way that you understand others. You want to find someone who listens to you with the same intensity that you do. But here's the trap. You attract people who just want to talk, never listen. The Stoic solution is brutal but necessary. You need to develop rigid emotional filters. It's not cruelty, it's survival. When someone starts pouring problems on you, cut it off in the first sentence. When you notice that you are absorbing other people's emotions, physically move away. Their tendency is to believe that they need to save everyone, that their mission is to be the understanding ear of the universe. This belief slowly destroys you. Stoicism teaches that you are only responsible for your own emotions and reactions. Period. Develop the habit of questioning every piece of information that comes to you. Ask yourself, is this my problem or this person's problem? If it is not yours, return it immediately. Don't process, don't analyze, don't try to solve. Simply return it. Its strength lies in the capacity for deep understanding, but this strength only works when directed consciously. Use your ability to read people as a tool of protection, not as an invitation to absorb all the pain in the world. The Carl Jung hidden desires revealed by the big ears is clear. You want authentic and reciprocal connections. Stop accepting emotional crumbs from people who just want to use your listening ability. Demand reciprocity or cut off the relationship. Remember, your sensitivity is a gift, not a curse. But like any gift, it needs to be used wisely and protectively. Set clear boundaries, keep emotional distance from energy vampires, and use your ability to perceive, to identify people who truly deserve your attention. 2. Small ears. Small ears reveal a completely different personality. If you have this characteristic, Jung identified in you what he called the natural selector. Your mind works as an extremely strict filter that analyzes every piece of information before allowing entry. You are not easily influenced. While people with big ears absorb everything, you question everything. This trait protects you from manipulation, but it can also isolate you from valuable experiences. Their tendency is to be suspicious first, to accept later, to accept themselves. The ears and personality pattern of small ears indicates an obsessive need for control over what enters your mind. You filter conversations, carefully select your sources of information, avoid chaotic environments. This selectivity gives you power, but it also limits you. Their hidden desire is to find people who pass through their rigorous filters. You want deep connections, but only with individuals who prove your intellectual and emotional worth. The problem is that their criteria are so high that few can meet them. Jung observed that people with small ears often develop a sense of intellectual superiority. You believe that your ability to filter information makes you smarter than others. In part, this is true, but this belief also makes you arrogant and closed to learning. Its biggest trap is paralyzing perfectionism. You analyze every decision, every person, every opportunity, so much that you end up missing valuable chances. As you ponder, others take action and achieve what you wanted. The Stoic approach to small ears is different. You need to learn how to balance selectivity with controlled opening. It's not about lowering your standards, but about speeding up your analysis process. Set clear and objective criteria, then make quick decisions based on them. Their tendency is to wait for the perfect person, for the perfect job, for the perfect opportunity. This wait keeps you stagnant. Stoicism teaches that perfection is the enemy of action. Better a good decision made quickly than a perfect decision that never happens. Develop what Jung called intelligent selectivity. Keep your filters, but speed up the filtering process. Create systems to assess people and situations faster. Trust your initial intuition more, which is usually correct. Their psychological analysis reveals a deep desire to find their tribe, a select group of people who share their high values and standards. Stop looking for perfect individuals and start looking for people who are compatible with your worldview. The strength of small ears lies in quality, not quantity. You don't need a lot of connections, you need the right connections. Use your natural selectivity as a competitive advantage, but don't let it paralyze you. Act based on your criteria, not in spite of them. 3. Pointed ears. Pointed ears bear the mark of what Jung called the blade mind. If you possess this trait, your psyche works like a scalpel that cuts through illusions and goes straight to the heart of any issue. That is his strength and his curse. You see patterns where others see chaos. Your analytical mind processes information at impressive speed, connecting points that go unnoticed by most. But this ability comes with a price. You become impatient with people who can't keep up with your mental pace. The body part's meaning of pointy ears indicates a compulsive need to understand the why behind it all. You don't accept superficial answers. You don't settle for vague explanations. You don't tolerate conversations without substance. This constant search for depth exhausts you mentally. Their deepest hidden desire is to find someone who challenges their intelligence. You want stimulating debates, conversations that make you think, people who question your conclusions. But the reality is frustrating. Most prefer banalities to deep discussions. Jung observed that individuals with pointed ears tend to be intellectually isolated. You withdraw from social groups because you consider superficial conversations a waste of time. He prefers solitude to the company of people he considers mentally inferior. This tendency to isolation feeds a destructive cycle. The further you move away, the more critical you become. The more critical it gets, the more people move away. The result is a loneliness that you justify as a conscious choice, but which is actually a mental prison. The Stoic approach to pointy ears requires intellectual humility. Recognize that your analytical ability is a gift, but not a license to despise others. Each person has knowledge and experience that you don't have. Your intelligence should be a bridge, not a wall. Develop what the Stoics called strategic patience. Not every conversation needs to be deep, nor does every interaction need to be intellectually stimulating. Sometimes the value lies in the simple human connection, not the complexity of the content. Their biggest trap is arrogance disguised as intellectual superiority. You believe that your ability to analyze makes you better than others, when in fact it just makes you different. This belief prevents you from forming genuine connections and keeps you on a lonely pedestal. The Carl Jung hidden desires revealed by the pointy ears is clear. You want to be recognized for your intelligence, but you also want authentic emotional connections. The problem is that you put these two desires in conflict, as if intelligence and emotion were incompatible. Learn to use your analytical ability to understand emotions, not to dismiss them. Apply your sharp mind to decipher people's emotional patterns, including your own. Turn your analysis into intelligent empathy. Stop waiting for others to rise to your intellectual level and start descending to their emotional level. It's not relegation, it's expansion. Your true intelligence shows itself when you can communicate with any type of person, not just those you deem worthy. 4. Rounded ears. Rounded ears reveal the personality of what Jung called a born harmonizer. If you have this trait, your psyche constantly seeks balance and avoids conflict at all costs. This tendency shapes every aspect of your life in ways you don't even realize. You are the natural mediator in any group. When tensions arise, you instinctively try to smooth the situation. When there are disagreements, you look for common ground. This ability endears you to many, but it also makes you a target for people who exploit your pacifying nature. The ear-shaped psychology of the rounded ears indicates a deep aversion to confrontation. You would rather give in than fight, agree to disagree, keep the peace than stand up for your principles. This trait protects you from unnecessary conflict, but it also prevents you from fighting for the things that really matter. Their hidden desire is to live in a frictionless world, where everyone understands and cooperates naturally. You fantasize about harmonious relationships, collaborative work environments, close-knit families. But this fantasy prevents you from dealing with reality. Conflict is a natural part of life. Jung observed that people with rounded ears often become collectors of other people's problems. Its harmonizing nature attracts people in crisis who are looking for someone to resolve their conflicts. You accept this role because you believe you are helping, but you are actually sacrificing yourself. Their biggest weakness is their inability to say no definitively. You soften refusals, offer alternatives, leave doors open to avoid disappointing others. This tendency burdens you with responsibilities that aren't yours and commitments you don't want to keep. The Stoic approach to rounded ears is radical. You need to learn that conflict is not the end of the world. Disagreements are normal, tensions are natural, confrontations are necessary. Your attempt to avoid all friction prevents you from growing and forming authentic relationships. Develop what the Stoics called gentle courage. Maintain its harmonious nature, but add firmness when needed. Learn to disagree without being aggressive, to confront without being destructive, to defend your limits without attacking others. Their tendency is to believe that keeping the peace is always the best option. But sometimes, false peace is more destructive than honest conflict. Relationships based on avoiding problems are superficial and fragile. True connections require the ability to face difficulties together. The ears and personality pattern of the rounded ears reveals a deep desire for belonging and acceptance. You want to be loved by everyone, so avoid any behavior that could lead to rejection. But this strategy makes you invisible and without your own personality. Stop sacrificing your authenticity in the name of harmony. Your opinions, needs, and limits are valid, even if they cause discomfort in others. Learn to value relationships that outlive your no's, because those are the only ones that really matter. Use your natural ability to harmonize as a strength, not a weakness. Be the mediator when appropriate, but also be the advocate for your own interests when necessary. True balance includes knowing when to fight and when to give in. 5. Prominent lobes. Detached lobes bear the signature of what Jung identified as the magnetic personality. If you possess this trait, there is something in you that naturally attracts attention and arouses curiosity in people. This magnetism is not accidental. It is a reflection of a psyche that operates at intense emotional frequencies. You have a presence that people feel before you even speak. When you enter an environment, something changes in the energy of the place. It is not arrogance or exhibitionism. It is an inner strength that manifests itself externally through your posture, gaze, and way of occupying space. Psychological analysis of the highlighted lobes reveals a profound need for emotional impact. You don't just want to be noticed, you want to be remembered. It does not seek superficial attention, it seeks connections that mark people permanently. This intensity is his trademark. His most powerful hidden desire is to leave an indelible mark on the lives of those who cross his path. You want to be the person who changed someone's perspective, who inspired a transformation, who was decisive at a crucial moment. This need for meaning drives their unconscious choices. Jung observed that individuals with detached lobes often become natural leaders, not out of political ambition, but out of an innate ability to influence emotional states. People feel different in their presence, braver, more authentic, more alive. But this trait comes with heavy responsibilities. You attract both admirers and envious. Your strong presence arouses extreme passions in people. Either they love you intensely or they reject you completely. Rarely is anyone indifferent to you. The trap of detached lobes is the temptation to use your magnetism to manipulate others. You quickly notice the effect it has on people and may be tempted to exploit this influence for your own benefit. Resisting this temptation is crucial to their ethical development. The Stoic approach requires you to use your natural influence as a tool of elevation, not domination. Its power to emotionally impact people should be directed to inspire growth, courage, and authenticity, never to create dependency or submission. Develop what the Stoics called leading by example. Your strong presence should reflect strong values, clear principles, and unwavering integrity. People follow you naturally, so make sure you're moving in the right direction. Your biggest responsibility is with the quality of your energy. You can't control how others react to your presence, but you can control what kind of energy you emit. Cultivate serenity, strength, and wisdom, because these qualities are amplified through your natural magnetism. The Carl Jung hidden desires revealed by the highlighted lobes is clear. You want to be a catalyst for positive transformation. He wants to use his influence to raise the level of those around him, to inspire courage in times of fear, to bring clarity in times of confusion. Accept your magnetic nature, but maintain humility. Its power of influence is a gift that must be used wisely and responsibly. Remember that with great influence comes great responsibility for the impact you make on the lives of others. 6. Cast lobes. Glued lobes reveal what Jung called the personality of fortitude. If you possess this trait, your psyche operates as a highly sophisticated defense system that protects your inner essence from external invasions. This protection is both its strength and its limitation. You don't easily open up to anyone. Their natural tendency is to maintain emotional distance until they are absolutely sure that the person deserves their trust. This caution protects you from disappointment, but it also prevents you from forming deep connections quickly. The body parts meaning of glued lobes indicates an obsessive need for emotional autonomy. You prefer to depend only on yourself, to solve your own problems, to make your own decisions. This independence gives you strength, but it can also isolate you unnecessarily. Your deepest hidden desire is to find someone who fully respects your need for personal space. You want intimate connections that don't require sacrificing your individuality. Look for people who complement you without trying to complete you or change you. Jung observed that people with glued lobes develop an exceptional capacity for emotional self-control. You rarely explode, you hardly lose your composure, you almost never act on impulse. This emotional stability makes you reliable, but it can also make you seem cold or distant. Their greatest strength is their ability to maintain mental clarity in crisis situations. While others panic, you coldly analyze the available options. While others get carried away by emotion, you stay focused on the facts. This characteristic makes you a natural leader in difficult times. But that same strength can become a weakness when applied excessively. Your tendency to intellectualize emotions can disconnect you from your own feelings. You analyze your reactions so much that you forget to simply feel them. The Stoic approach to glued lobes is paradoxical. You need to learn to open yourself in a controlled way. Keep your nature cautious, but develop clear criteria for when it's worth lowering your defenses. It's not about making yourself vulnerable, but about being strategically accessible. Develop what Jung called selective intimacy. Carefully choose a few people to share your inner life with, but when you choose, do it completely. Your tendency is to keep everyone at a safe distance, but that prevents you from experiencing truly deep connections. The ear-shaped psychology of the glued lobes reveals a pattern of protection that may have originated from past experiences of betrayal or abandonment. You've learned that it's safer to rely only on yourself, but that lesson may be limiting you in the present. Your emotional independence is admirable, but don't let it turn into isolation. Learn to distinguish between people who want to invade your space and people who genuinely want to be a part of your life. Not every approach is a threat to their autonomy. Use your natural capacity for self-control as a foundation for healthy relationships, not as a barrier to avoiding them. Your emotional stability is a gift you can offer to special people, but you first need to allow them to get close enough to receive you. 7. Asymmetrical ears. Asymmetrical ears bear the mark of what Jung called the mind in creative conflict. Boy, if you possess this trait, your psyche operates at two different frequencies simultaneously, creating an internal tension that can be both destructive and revolutionary, depending on how you manage it. You live in constant duality. One part of you seeks security and stability, while another part craves adventure and change. This internal division is not a defect, it is the source of your unique ability to see multiple perspectives in any given situation. The ears and personality pattern of asymmetrical ears indicates a mind that processes information in a non-linear fashion. You don't think straight like most people. Your mind jumps between ideas, connects seemingly unrelated concepts, finds creative solutions that others can't see. Your most complex occult desire is to integrate your inner contradictions into a cohesive and powerful personality. You want to stop feeling torn between different versions of yourself and find a way to honor all aspects of your nature without feeling fragmented. Jung noted that individuals with asymmetrical ears often excel in areas that require innovative thinking. Your ability to hold contradictory perspectives simultaneously allows you to find solutions that escape more conventional minds. But this same trait can paralyze you when you need to make quick decisions. You see so many different angles of each situation that you get lost in the analysis. Your mind works as a prism that divides each issue into multiple facets, making it difficult to make direct choices. The biggest pitfall of asymmetrical ears is the tendency to self-sabotage. When one part of you wants something, another part automatically questions that desire. When you're progressing in one direction, your mind creates arguments to change course. This internal contradiction can destroy your projects. The Stoic approach requires you to accept your dual nature as an advantage, not a problem. Stop trying to solve your internal asymmetry and start using it strategically. Your ability to see multiple sides is a superpower when directed correctly. Develop what the Stoics called conscious synthesis. Instead of fighting your contradictions, learn to integrate them into more complete and balanced decisions. Use your multiple perspective to anticipate problems that others don't see and create more robust solutions. Their tendency is to believe that they have to choose between different aspects of their personality, as if it were impossible to be multiple things at the same time. This belief forces you to repress important parts of who you are, creating frustration and a sense of incompleteness. Psychological analysis of asymmetrical ears reveals a profound need for total self-acceptance. You need to stop judging your contradictions as flaws and start seeing them as unique traits that make you more complete and interesting than one-dimensional people. Learn to communicate your complexity clearly. Many people see you as indecisive or confused because you express multiple perspectives. Develop the ability to present your complex ideas in an organized and compelling way. Use your asymmetry as a tool for creativity and innovation. Your mind works differently than most, and that's a competitive advantage when you stop trying to fit into conventional patterns and embrace your unique way of processing the world. 8. High position. Ears in a high position reveal what Jung identified as the eagle mentality. If you possess this trait, your psyche naturally seeks elevated perspectives and long-term visions. You don't settle for small details, you always want to see the whole picture. Your mind operates on a strategic level that few can keep up with. While others worry about immediate problems, you're already thinking about the future consequences. While others focus on tactics, you develop strategies. This broad vision is its greatest strength. The Carl Jung hidden desires revealed by the high position of the ears is clear. You want to lead through vision, not authority. He wants to be recognized for his ability to anticipate trends, predict problems, and create solutions before crises happen. You have a natural impatience with people who can't keep up with your mental pace. Your tendency is to speed up explanations, to skip obvious steps, to assume that others understand concepts that are elementary to you. This trait can make you seem arrogant or disconnected. You've noted that individuals with ears in a high position often feel misunderstood in conventional settings. Their long-term vision conflicts with most people's short-term mindset. You see solutions that others consider impossible or unnecessary. Its biggest trap is the disregard for practical details. You excel at creating grandiose visions, but you may fail to take the steps necessary to accomplish them. Your mind flies too high to worry about mundane aspects, but these aspects are crucial to success. The Stoic approach to high ear position requires operational humility. Keep your strategic vision, but develop respect for tactical details. Great visions only materialize through small, consistent actions executed with precision. Develop what the Stoics called educational leadership. Use your ability to see the future to educate others about the consequences of present actions. Turn your impatience into pedagogical patience that raises the level of understanding of the people around you. Their tendency is to underestimate the importance of clear communication. You assume that your vision is obvious to everyone, but the truth is that you need to translate your high-level insights into accessible language. Your responsibility is to bridge the gap between your elevated perspective and practical reality. The body part's meaning of the high position of the ears indicates a need for transcendent purpose. You don't motivate yourself with small goals or immediate rewards. You need to feel that you are contributing to something bigger, that your vision is serving a purpose that goes beyond your personal interests. Learn to value people who complement your skills. You need detail-oriented executors, hands-on implementers, meticulous organizers. Your strategic vision only gains power when combined with competent tactical execution. Use your elevated perspective as a responsibility, not a privilege. Your ability to see what others don't see makes you responsible for warning of future dangers and pointing out opportunities that go unnoticed. Be the observer who protects and guides, not the critic who judges and despises. 9. Low position. Ears in a low position bear the signature of what Jung called earthly wisdom. If you possess this trait, your psyche is attuned to the practical realities of life, to the details that make the difference between success and failure, between theory and actual application. You have a natural ability to identify problems that others overlook. As people with tall ears fly in the clouds of big ideas, you keep your feet on the ground and see the practical obstacles that can bring down any project. This perception makes you indispensable in any team. Low-position ear-shaped psychology indicates a mind that values concrete results over abstract concepts. You are not impressed by pretty theories that don't work in practice. He wants to see evidence, test hypotheses, validate ideas through real experience. His deepest hidden desire is to be recognized as the expert in turning visions into reality. You want to be the person who takes impossible dreams and finds practical ways to make them come true. Their satisfaction comes from solving problems that others consider unsolvable. Jung noted that individuals with ears in a low position often become the silent saviors of ambitious projects. While others get credit for the brilliant ideas, you work behind the scenes solving the problems that really matter for success. Its greatest strength is its ability to anticipate practical difficulties before they become crises. You see holes in seemingly perfect plans, identify necessary resources that have been forgotten, predict complications that others don't consider. This skill makes you a valuable advisor. But this same trait can turn you into a chronic pessimist. Your tendency to focus on potential problems can prevent you from supporting innovative ideas. You become so good at finding fault that you forget to recognize genuine possibilities. The Stoic approach to low ear position requires a balance between realism and possibility. Maintain your ability to identify practical problems, but also develop the ability to find creative solutions to those problems. Develop what the Stoics called operational optimism. Use your perception of difficulties as a starting point for strategizing, not as a justification for giving up. Turn every obstacle you identify into a challenge to overcome. Their tendency is to underestimate the value of their contribution. You see your role as just solving practical problems, when in fact you are being the foundation that sustains great achievements. Without their solid foundation, the brightest visions crumble. The ears and personality pattern of the low position reveals a deep need for tangible purpose. You need to see concrete results from your work, touch finished projects, observe real improvements in people's lives. Abstractions don't motivate you, achievements do. Learn to communicate strategic value from your practical perspective. Often, visionary leaders don't understand the crucial importance of the details you master. Their responsibility is to educate on how practical aspects determine the success of any venture. Use your connection to reality as a bridge between dreams and achievements. You have the rare gift of taking abstract ideas and translating them into concrete, actionable steps. This skill makes you an indispensable partner for anyone with big ambitions. Stop seeing yourself as the water party who points out problems and start recognizing yourself as the solver who finds ways. Your practical perspective should not limit possibilities. It should make them viable and sustainable. 10. Conscious transformation. Now that you know what your ears reveal about your psychological nature, the most crucial moment has arrived, using that knowledge to consciously transform your life. Jung didn't develop this analysis to label you, but to free you from the unconscious patterns that limit you. The brutal truth is that most people live on autopilot, reacting to life stimuli without understanding why they always end up in the same places. You now have an advantage. You know your basic psychological patterns engraved in your own anatomy. Psychological analysis of the ears is only the first step. The second step is more challenging, consciously deciding which aspects of your nature you're going to amplify and which you're going to control. Self-knowledge without action is just intellectual curiosity. If you have big ears, stop absorbing other people's problems and start filtering energies. If you have small ears, speed up your decision-making processes without lowering your standards. If you have pointy ears, use your intelligence to connect, not isolate yourself. Jung believed that real transformation happens when you stop being a victim of your patterns and become a conscious architect of your personality. Their physical characteristics reveal tendencies, not destinies. You have the power to transcend any limitations you have discovered about yourself. The Stoic approach to transformation is radical. Fully accept who you are, then consciously choose who you want to become. Don't fight your nature, refine it. Do not deny your tendencies, direct them towards high goals. Develop what Jung called conscious individuation. Use every insight into your personality as a tool for growth. Turn your weaknesses into strengths, your limitations into specializations, your flaws into unique traits. His responsibility is now greater. You can no longer use ignorance as an excuse for destructive patterns. He knows his tendencies, so he is responsible for directing them constructively. He knows his pitfalls, so he is responsible for avoiding them. The Carl Jung hidden desires revealed through ear analysis points to a universal truth. We all seek authenticity, connection, and purpose. The difference is in the paths that each personality type needs to take to achieve these goals. Start applying this knowledge today. Observe your automatic reactions and question whether they serve your goals. Identify situations where your patterns hurt you and develop alternative strategies. Use your new consciousness as the power of choice. Remember, Jung discovered that the most fulfilled people are not those who were born perfect, but those who became aware of their imperfections and turned them into strengths. Your journey of conscious transformation begins now. The body parts meaning of your ears gave you a map of your psyche. Now you need to decide which destination you will choose. Knowledge without application is useless. Awareness without action is waste. Use what you've learned to build the most powerful and authentic version of yourself.